I'm seeing more and more people cancel my appointments like the day of, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is? And so why is it that people are reacting this way? Why can't they shift their perception, even though the reality shows, hey, listen, like things are actually in a great space right now. Why are they reacting that way?
Well, I just think overall people still are, instead of drawing motivation, drive, consistency, discipline from self, they keep wanting and needing accountability partners and some stimulus or factor outside of themselves to keep them in check. And now, more so than ever throughout the year, we're seeing that being gone because other people are taking time off. So it now becomes almost okay or a justifiable excuse to say, well, yeah, I can't take time off because my three accountability partners, Colton, they're taking time off too, so I can too. Why
Yeah.
not?
Well, and I think it's okay if you're going to take time off, schedule it off. You know, the trap that I see a lot of realtors get into is they don't really get clear on what their holiday schedule is. So while they're working, they're like mentally off. And then when they're not working, they're like trying to be like mentally on because they didn't do anything when they were supposed to. So then there's this inner battle of frustration while they're working and while they're not working. And they don't have clear outcomes. And they don't get to enjoy their time off or their time on. Have you noticed that with inside your coaching program or with other agents that reach out to you?
Absolutely. Less people on the coaching calls. And even now, in the last couple of weeks, and even going through the end of the year, you see people putting together their schedule for next year and their business plan. But what happens with 99% of them? They get excited, they make it, and they file it away in their desk, and they don't look at it ever again after the new year. So that's why we're seeing the consequences now of what you just said, of somebody not knowing what their schedule is and having that time scheduled off. Because if you do that ahead of time, like, dude, when we talk, we're like, hey man, what does your calendar look like, March or April of next year? Okay, let me look. And then we set the dates for our events, and that's already planned. It's not some
Right.
off the top, off a whim conversation. Hey, let's just do this. Like, we already have things projected into the future. And I think if people had more of that long-term vision and approach, it would really make things easier when they do get to that moment 3 or 4 months ahead, because it's already been planned. And that's all the stuff we've been preaching for years, bro. Planning, scheduling, visualization, taking responsibility, and doing the right things. Like, everything we've been saying for the last 4 or 5, 6 years, bro, has been the same shit over and over. The only difference is it's 2019. Last year was 2018. And in fucking 3 weeks, it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's another difference. I'm about 45 pounds lighter as well. That's and I got the blue rockers, and I don't wear suits from China anymore. So what are some? Let's talk about some of those strategies, because obviously the way I do my planning and my scheduling is evolved and it's improved since then. What are some of the ways that you've evolved over the last 4 or 5 years that now allow you to have? Like, I know we were talking the other day. I was just double checking on your dates in Las Vegas for your next event, and just getting clear. We were getting clear on when I'm doing mine in August. What are some strategies you use to get things projected out in front so that you don't have to worry when things come? You just are moving into action.
There's a lot that I do, dude. I know there's going to be certain things for sure that I'm going to be doing that next year, whether it's, possibly events with you, events that I'm hosting, maybe with my brokerage, EXP. I know they already have.
Oh, they're gonna let you. They're gonna let you on stage. They're gonna let Bryan Casella on stage at EXP.
They already have, bro. So there's certain things that I know that, are set in stone, and events that, we've gone to together, like the Tony Robbins stuff, like that stuff is already out there and we know that schedule. So what I do is, in conjunction with what I'm doing and what I plan to do as far as, days worked, hours prospected, and everything that I have planned with my team, I'm putting a lot of those events. And I do also, and I think this is where people maybe make some mistakes, or they forget about this. I also leave some days where, hey, this weekend in February, this third weekend, I don't have anything planned, but I'm going to leave that one open in case an event pops up, or if I want to, I don't know, take a trip for 2 days to Florida and go to Miami and visit the WGR Mastermind, something like that.
Yeah.
I leave those little breaks, but it's mainly about setting the intentions and already knowing how many days I'm going to work and what that schedule looks like. And then in conjunction with all of the events and things that I know I have planned for the next year. And that's going to leave me some little blips here and there that are open. But more than anything, it gives me like a 90 to 95% set schedule as far as what I'm going to be doing and what my activities look like on a daily basis. Because although it has evolved, because we've added so many other elements to our lives, like, you know, the online stuff and all that, it's still very simple when you break it down at the end of the day. And a lot of the activities that we are going to be doing on a day-to-day basis remain virtually the same with little changes here and there.
So one thing I've noticed over the last few years is I have to schedule with you further in advance. Not as far probably as other people do, because you give me special privileges for my great smile and my comedy routines that I pull out when we talk. But I do notice that you have a much tighter schedule today than even 1 or 2 years ago. Is that just because you have more on your plate now, or you've crystallized your routine more in what you want to do in your life, or both?
Both, man. Definitely both. And I'm a lot more aware now of what that schedule looks like, and that picture is pretty clear in my mind on a consistent basis. I'm working closely with my assistant as well with that. So it's always there. So like when you texted me for this, that's why I confirmed with you too. Hey, dude, did you mean next Thursday or this Thursday? Because I already knew kind of what all those things and activities around that time look like. And I just wanted to make sure.
So let's do this for just a second. We got Dalton Anderson here live from Denver, Colorado. We got Matt Mila, Jen DeJulio in the mastermind, Brandon Hanson, who should be in the mastermind, Michael Martin, thanks for coming on, Clayton Nell, Andrew Gallegos, Kristen Carwin, thanks for you guys being here. You guys can go ahead and ask questions, and I will ask them to Bryan along the way, because he has blessed us for a good 30 or so minutes today. So thank you. Give him some hearts. That's his favorite emoji, or his reaction are the hearts. And oh yeah, drop the one eye out, like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, they can see this. I forget. Now we're getting some hearts up there. Give us some angry faces if you are tired of frustration this holiday season. Have you noticed that, like with the general community, the consumer right now, or people not even in looking to buy or sell real estate, just people out and about, how have you noticed their energy during this holiday season?
You know, it's interesting that you asked me that, Colton, because the people, it seems like the people who are on the fence or like have a genuine want or desire to buy or sell, I've seen, and from conversations, it's one of two people. It's either one who's just like, for sure certain, I don't care what anybody says, I don't care what the media says, like I want to move, I want to sell, I want to buy, like this gentleman that we just listed. I think we listed him like 2 days ago. Very easy, right? 5-minute presentation, super quick. Then we have the other people who are there, but we almost have to, in a sense, massage them through the conversation because they have so much programming in their mind about how things are this time of year. And, you know, obviously they have family coming over, they have and when we think about it, dude, what is really the holiday season? I mean, we have Christmas, Thanksgiving, and then a couple of days around there where family comes. The rest of the time, like it's normal. It's just we have this.
You know what it is, though? I have two comments. One is holidays represents gluttony, consumerism, and spending, and everything that's actually counter to the body, mind, and soul when you think about it. The idea is, yeah, we're going to be close with family, we're going to honor Jesus, we're going to do whatever. That's great, the idea, but what actually happens is people go out the day after Thanksgiving spending a ton of money. The day of Thanksgiving, they eat a ton of shitty food. They have holiday parties all throughout. They're eating a ton of food. They come up with reasons why not to work out as much or exercise as much. And then they're in long lines, and then they're frustrated because they didn't get the present soon enough or something, or someone cuts them off, or there's too long, whatever. And so then the actual opposite happens. So that's what I've observed happens with folks if you unconsciously let it happen. But if you consciously go through this, you can actually enjoy this experience. You can have great success in your business. You can have great conversations with friends. You can even take the downtime of where people aren't necessarily wanting to work, but you're still doing things. It's a great time to sit and thinkitate and to really get clear on what is your vision and where do you want to go. And it's a great time to mastermind and have great conversations with other folks that are focused on it. The other thing I'd like to point out is you said you have to massage your clients through the conversation. I'm just curious, what does a fucking massage look like from Bryan through a conversation? Is that like, I would love to experience a Bryan Casella massage through a conversation. Tell me about that. How do I do that?
It's two parts. One, what you mentioned was what I was going to say is I am noticing a little bit more. It's either like hostility, which is what we talked about, and you mentioned about like the Black Friday shopping and people getting cut off and that kind of stuff, or there's almost like an apathy where people are just like, maybe they don't have any family with them and they feel the weight of everybody else always posting their family and they're kind of sad. So the conversation has either one or two of those. And then just the miseducation, man. You know, like when someone's like, why would I put my home back on the market now? There's no buyers, or the market sucks, or no one's going to buy until March in the spring. So it's kind of like a two-way street. I have to deal with the emotional side of them either being a little bit more hostile or more, sad, we can say, or under the weather. And then we have the whole miseducation side, which I find out of both of those, sometimes the miseducation one is so drilled into them, dude. It's like you're trying to, I don't know, break a concrete wall with wood.
The wood breaks. So looking forward into January, what do agents need to do today to make sure that they're explosive in January and February? Because some people haven't been doing those things right now, and they're going to struggle January and February just because it's a lag business. But what can they start doing immediately?
Good question, man. I think right now, I can give a few tips. That right now is a great time to look at all the leads that you had from January to, let's say, November, or even last week. Now's a good time through the end of the year to touch base with them, see where they're at, and see if anything has changed for them, okay? Right now, we're also going after a lot of, throughout the year, all of those expireds and FSBOs that maybe we couldn't get a hold of, or that expressed interest and changed their mind. We're going after them again, right? Another thing, and this is a great technique that I've applied that my team is doing very well, is for those of you who are willing to prospect now, some people, for whatever reason, are not going to be ready until after the new year. What we're doing now is we're already, with those people, setting appointments for after the new year. We're pulling out our calendar and saying, hey, I know you're not available until after, January 1st. That first weekend, that first Saturday, that Sunday, what does your calendar look like? And we're setting appointments. We've already set, I think, 4 appointments for after the new year, the first week in January, from people who are not ready until after the new year. And I've actually in the past, in November, set appointments for January, February with people. Yeah. So if I can give one big tip, it's that. Get your calendar out and start setting appointments with people who are not going to be ready until after the new year. And you'll see that you will set appointments. People will. It's going to come down to your certainty, though, as the salesperson.
Yeah.
If you set that frame and you hold it, they will comply. And it happens. I just think a lot of times, even realtors themselves, dude, buy into this holiday mess. And they're like, well, I guess they're right. Yeah, no one wants to buy or sell.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about setting appointments the 1st of January, which a lot of realtors, when they apply for the Alliance or the Mastermind, and then they have to have an interview with either me or someone on my team, I think we had 10 applications in the last week, and 7 of them I think scheduled, but it's all like the first week of January that they wouldn't schedule between now and then, even though we have openings, right? And but so then the question becomes, okay, no matter what your appointment is that first week of January, one thing I've learned in the past is how can we increase the show up rate on that appointment? So between now and that appointment in January, what are you guys doing to make sure that it's confirmed, or at least have to, when you get closer, rearrange it so the appointment actually happens?
Yeah, well, initially in the conversation, we're already kind of setting up with them little touches that we're going to have with them. We check in with them before the end of the year. Like, let's say the appointment's for January 3rd. We're already kind of coaching them and say, okay, maybe on the 30th or 31st, I'll check in with you. We're sending them video. They're immediately plugged into our database, so they are getting the emails. They're getting if we set that appointment in December, they're going to get at least 2 mailers from us, which is a December one and then one for Christmas. And then they're going to get one after the new year too for, January 1st, the Happy New Year card. So we got the team together and we did like a sexy photo shoot. And I'm actually going to send you the non-clothed ones, Colton.
Yes, please do.
Your theme now.
Yeah. No, definitely. If you could just send those over so I have them for my personal file on you, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I put it the shared Google Drive folder that we have, the Spank Bank.